Hey, everybody, welcome to August. Yes, it's so exciting to be on month 8. That means we've covered 8, or we will have covered by the end of August, 8 of the 12 major faculties that metaphysics talks about for spiritual living. And this month, we're doing regeneration, or life itself, represented by Judas Iscariot, if you were following all the disciples. And it's funny because Judas betrayed Jesus and ended up killing himself, but he represents life. And so it's very interesting. The color for life is red, blood red, because the blood coursing through our veins, it brings us life. So simple, right? We find it in our body, in our imagination, and in our reproductive organs. And so the whole idea of regeneration on a spiritual plane is that when our zeal and our order and all of our other faculties start coming together and life is pulsing through us, that's the part of us that wants to have babies, but bigger than that, spiritually, is just the part of us that has bright ideas, has things that we want to bring into the world, things, ideas, inspiration, compelling things that we want to bring into the world. I call it our heart's desire or our vision for our life. Those things that when we're all operating on all cylinders, it just wants to show up. It needs to show up. I mean, that's how it is for me when I write my books. I think of ideas and they're kind of in my imagination a little bit. And then all of a sudden, when things come together, all the other principles start kind of lining up for that thing. Pretty soon, it chases you down. In fact, I've even said on a recent podcast, and it's all over my things, that whatever your vision is, it's going to keep hunting you down until you say yes. So you might as well just say yes to the life that you were meant to have, the life you're meant to bring into the world. So this is taking the principle to the vitality of our life, but it also is about how we bring new into the world, how we bring life into the world. And it's best done when our other spiritual faculties are kind of working along with us, right? So if you have a lot of great ideas, your imagination's going great, but the other things aren't really online together, they're not working together. It's like walking through the forest with a bag of seeds and spilling them. And they don't really get planted, and they may or may not even grow, and they get trampled on or washed away in the rain, or they bake in the sun. And you really don't have a good harvest of that bag of seeds. So just because it hits your imagination or it's a great idea doesn't mean that it's meant to come into fruition at that moment. It may never be meant to be done by you. It might be, the thing in your mind might be a piece of what it is. So the magic here of this regeneration, of this principle of life, is to bring the other faculties, faith, love, wisdom, zeal, order, bring them all together. And then you end up using your wisdom and your discernment to say, how is this meant to come forward? Because maybe it's not meant to come forward, and maybe it's meant to come forward at a different time. So where a lot of people make a lot of mistakes and they make it harder on themselves, and I know I used to do this all the time, and I still kind of am tempted to, is I have a great idea and, oh my God, it has to happen now. So effectively, if I start acting on it, I'm spilling my seeds out, because until it's had time to go within and germinate and the energy to come and order, like how is the spiritual law going to work? Remember spiritual law and order? That was last month. How are we going to have our faith and our judgment and our discernment all work together? We can't have it work together if we haven't given it time for all those faculties to come together. So life is about allowing our inner wisdom, our inner discernment, our inner knowledge to come together and work in our favor, to allow us to listen to that, like inner, I call it a compelling prompting, like that inner part of us that can't, is just really a strong inner prompting and a compelling, like, I need to call. Like, I was thinking a friend of mine the other day and just kept coming up and coming up and coming up. So I finally reached out by the end of the day because it just wouldn't leave me alone. And sure enough, that person was having a struggle of a day and was wanting to call me, but was afraid to, because they were afraid they were going to disturb me. So I called them and they were really grateful. So there's some times where we're just compelled. That's different than just imagination, right? And in all of this, we want to use our discernment and our wisdom to say, is this something for me to act on? Or is this just a really good idea passing through? Or is it a really good idea that soon I will be sharing that idea with another person? I'm a visionary. Some of you guys are visionaries in that way, where you might get the great idea. You might have the great inspiration, but it may not be for you to do. It may be for you to support someone else in doing, even if you don't even know it yet. So you never really quite know until you slow down enough, pick up the thing, quit spilling the seeds, and see, look within there. What kind of seeds are they? What's happening? So that you can ultimately bring all of the spiritual gifts together so that you have your wisdom leading the way, right? Your discernment, your wisdom, and you understand that there's timing in the universe. Like all the flowers bloom right on time. Nature is never early and nature is never late. The universe operates with great precision. Even if us humans can't understand it, there's great precision. There's an elegant simplicity. So our job is to let ourselves be part of that elegant simplicity, part of that natural flow, rather than trying to create our own flow, our own way, which is usually more complicated than it needs to be. And then we miss the point. Another danger that a few of you guys do is overthink. Think. Always thinking. Put it in your head and wrap it around in your intellect. And that's great, but that's not all there is. There's what your spirit say, what your heart say. What is important with the wisdom? What actions go with all of your faculties coming together? I kind of imagine the idea, the inspiration come into our head and we go, oh, I could do this, or what about that, or whatever it is. And then it's like this little light bulb goes off, and then circling around it are all the other faculties. Here comes faith and love and strength and wisdom and order and zeal, right? And regeneration, which is life, and elimination, which is getting rid of this stuff in the way, right? And all of the faculties start kind of coming into that little light of imagination. It all starts coming together. And when it comes together like that, that's when we end up with something really amazing, because we've allowed the timing, the wisdom, and the order of the universe, of the greater universe, those spiritual law and order, to come together for a collective whole, for this thing to be offered to the world. Versus have an idea, I'm just going to start taking action on it, all frenetic. And then I wonder why it either doesn't turn out as great as I thought, or it doesn't turn out at all, or there's a problem. Well, not every idea is meant to come into fruition in the way we think of it initially. Not every idea's time is right now. Some of us have ideas and their best timing might be a year from now or 6 months from now. Because the spirit world, where all these faculties live, time's not a reference point. In the human world, we're in two-dimensional time and space. Time is a reference point. So in the translation from everything beautifully coming together to how it is going to be brought into manifestation, it's two different conversations. And sometimes we can move too quickly, too fast, without really using enough discernment, because we didn't give ourselves enough time, and we create a mess. And then it also happens the other way. Analysis paralysis, think, overthink, go until there's no hope, right? And then we have ourselves, we have ourselves just stopped. We don't want that either. We want to be able to have all of our faculties kind of working together for the greater good of all of us. And so That is really, really important. Now, other thing I love about this, well, I love that the color for life is red because I love red. But the other thing I love about this is that this faculty has to do with shining your light brightly. So this goes with my vision of being a lighthouse, of you guys being lighthouses, of us being a lighthouse in the world where we're shining our light out to draw toward us what's right and perfect for our life, right? Like the lighthouse at the edge of the harbor that shines out to sea, brings the sailors in to the harbor for safety, regeneration. That's life, right? Rest. That's what it does. It sits on land so they can see where land is, and it shows the way when it goes around. It shows the way into safety, into a place to rest, into a place to rejuvenate themselves. So it's so important that we do that for ourselves too, and that we realize that we're the lighthouses. And in order to be shining our light brightly, we want to have our faculties working together in concert and combination. So a good affirmation is, I am fulfilled with my life, right? Or I choose to live in harmony, or I let my light shine, right? Finding a way to let that part of you surface and show up and do something amazing and feel amazing, even when it's a little tricky, Yeah, it's kind of wild, right? So anyway, I'm excited by this month and this faculty because it has a lot of meaning for us. It has a lot of opportunity to really go deep within and start looking at what is important for us to bring into the world, what's important for us to birth. Because it's not just about children. It's about ideas. It's about vision. It's about legacy. It's about what's your stamp on the world going to be really, right? Yeah, that's what it's about. So that's what life, regeneration is about. Its partner is elimination, which is all about releasing and letting go, right? And so sometimes we hold on until we're half dead, or until if it was a knife, we're bleeding to death, or we're constipated mentally or physically. And we need to practice the elimination that goes with life, because we have to be willing to release what's not serving us in order to bring forward what we're supposed to birth. Right? Right. So life, it's about letting your light shine. It's about allowing yourself to bring all the spiritual faculties together for something greater, to bring into the world something magnificent. Pretty fun, I think. So ultimately, when you pay attention on this level, your spiritual wisdom begins to really come together. It's probably already coming together if you've been practicing all these principles all along. Or maybe you forgot which ones we've been doing and you need to review them, right? But when you practice them coming together, your wisdom increases, your discernment increases. You're able to see and be and do what you couldn't before. Not because you weren't able, but because you weren't all in alignment. It's so important, the alignment part. You also need to learn how to pay attention to timing, right? And the more wise we are, and the more we're letting everything to come together, the more we appreciate timing, and the more we allow the timing of things to work in our favor rather than work against us. Yeah. So there you have it. How exciting, right? Oh my God, what a great one. I love regeneration because I love life, and I love talking about life, and I love how all the faculties work together for our lives. Really amazing. So that's about all I have to say for today. I was going to sit here and have a lot of dialogue and questions. However, I don't know where everybody is except Paul, I know where he is. So I don't know where the rest of y'all are, but I will post this video, and then hopefully I will see you next Tuesday at 1:00 Eastern, so we can continue our conversation about life, the very life that you breathe and enjoy and have. So thanks for being part of the Inner Circle. My next free Zoom is on August 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So get ready for that. We're going to talk about existential angst. See you later, alligator.